now out. So the Reavers are not as big of a deal if he's got Templar with his army in the future, but still nicely defended by Zero. Sorry about that. Just really fended it off really well, coming from behind with that group of Hydralisks. And I'm surprised that Stats didn't know that was coming. He knew those Hydralisks were there, but he just didn't protect his flank like that. He sent all of his forces in, and only a few Zealots in the back, and his Reavers were very vulnerable there. So anyway, so he's just decided to drop that one Reaver back. He's probably just going to let that Reaver chill. If he makes another big push, then he might bring that Reaver along, but it's probably going to be better for defense at this point, especially if he's going to think about setting up a third base, which I'm not sure if he is going to or not. Anyway, he's got another Reaver out too, so never mind. Maybe he's just gonna since he still has to let the shields recharge, get a second Reaver and move out. And that is actually a powerful force if you can move out with Reavers and Templar. It's very cool. I think one of the Corsairs died there. Why is my thing being skippy? I hate when that happens. Let me quit some stuff real quick. Anyway, Observer's out now as well, just in time for the Lurkers. The Lurkers are just finished morphing, so those are going to be in play in the next one. So really good adaptation, actually, from Stats. Kind of getting the forces out that he needs to deal with his Lurkers because they're actually out there, etc., etc. He's not really paying attention to these Corsairs, though. He's losing one every once in a while, and so he's down to 3. Really almost would have been a good investment to buy another one, to build another Corsair before when he lost that first one, because now he's low enough that the Scourge can get in there and kill him off. Anyway, lots of massive destruction forces in this army, though, and really Zero does not have anything to go in there and snipe those. He doesn't have the Mulist. But he's got stop Lurkers luring some Lurkers. I think they might even stop luring those in. Storm going off on the Lurkers and the Hydralisks, destroying lots of stuff. This is exactly what I was afraid of. He has so many Storms and Lurkers. He's got so much mass destruction in this army that he just destroys tons and tons of Hydralisks. 3 Hydralisks escaping from that massive army. Zero looking a little bit worried there as Stats bears down with a couple Reavers still alive. Bears down on his third base. I think he's going to be able to defend that third base, but he's not going to be able to get out very quickly. And if he just stays at those 3 bases, Zero needs to be in a place of power right now, so he can get that 4th base going with Stat, or at least kill Stats' third base. But he's not in that position at all. He's got Lurkers. And Lurker's not too good against Dragoons. He just was able to pick off that Observer, and so hold this off a little bit longer with the Observer dead. And he's going to be forced back a little bit by just more Hydralisks being pushed out as well. And this Dark Templar running for its life. Run, Dark Templar, run! 2 hits left, 1 hit left. There it goes. Anyway, so Stats is just going to fall back and try and get that third base going. I thought it was up already. I apologize. So he's just going to fall back and try to get the third base going. And I'm surprised Zero didn't bust out with a switch to Mutas and kill those Templar or something like that. But he may not have had the money to do it. And that's the thing. That's why the Reaver Templar combo is so powerful. If you can save your Reavers and get them into the late game like that, it's so much harder to snipe the Reavers with the Mutalisks. And especially if you have some Archons around. I mean, if there's shuttle and what have you. So you're definitely going to have mass destruction units around if you can have both the Templars and the Reavers. And he does have the Reavers in play. I don't see any Templar with his army. There's the Templar joining up with his army. They're new Templars, so they're probably only got 1 storm each. So he's got 4 Psy Storms in this army, though, which is significant. There's the Mutas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 Mutas there. So he does have a perfect sniping force of Mutalisks. And only 5 Dragoons, I think, there. And an Archon to protect those Templar. So if he can get in there, he might be able to snipe those Templar with some good control. Here he comes in. He's going in for the attack run. He's going to snipe one. He forces him to storm his own units. He gets a couple of the Templar and storms his own Reavers as well. Nicely done on Zero's part. And he's going to run. He's going to snipe the Reaver. Gets the last hit on the Reaver as well. I think he might have lost a couple Mutas. I'm not sure. But the rest of them are damaged. Maybe a few Mutas, but he's just not in good shape. And storm going off on the front of those Hydras, loses a good chunk of them. Fortunately, well, sort of fortunately, the Storm actually hit the same spot that the Scarab did, so he kind of minimized his losses there. But now Stats' macro is just really kicking in, and he's just out macroing Zero at this point. Basically, look at this huge army he's been able to build up. He's got more Dragoons. Never mind, Zero has a crap ton of Hydralisks as well, so they're both macroing very well. Zero just staying at 3 bases, just macroing off 3 bases still. He's got a few Mutalisks still around, but he doesn't have enough to run in and snipe Templar right now, and there's a lot of Dragoons there, so it's going to be difficult to snipe those Templar. He's just going to have to go straight up, heads up, and just try and micro his Hydralisks out of the way, but he's moving a huge force in towards Stats' natural expansion. He's going to be able to pick off one Reaver very quickly. He's going in here. Stats is going to have to bring his forces back to his main base, but he may just... yes, oh no, he is regrouping it. This is going to be really bad because... oh, this could be really bad for Zero. He's got his entire army... whoa! In Stats' natural expansion, he just waltzes. He just walks right into Mordor. I mean, walks right into Stats' natural expansion. He's going to be able to pick off these Templar coming out of the gateways very easily, but he's clumped up. He's got Mutants coming in. If he can pick off those Templar, can he pick off the Templar? Stop them from running in and killing all of his forces clumped up. He might be able to hold this off. He might be able to continue this attack, but so many Zealots running in are actually slaughtering the Hydralisks on their own, and oh my goodness. Zero's entire force just completely slaughtered there without even it being necessary to have without even being necessary to storm everything. Excuse me, Stats is pretty low on minerals still right now. He's not mining in his main. I didn't see if maybe an attack happened or maybe he just transferred all of his probes out of his main, but he's pretty low on probes in general. He's just focusing on tons and tons of forces here. Now Zero having to play a little bit defensive, setting up this large sort of array in the middle of the map. He's going to be able to fend this off pretty well. This is really close. Both players, neither player has a huge army right now. Both players have been dealing a lot of damage to the other one's army, so neither player has a real advantage at this point. But I think Stats has a little bit of an advantage right now. Zero just seems to be just losing these battles too often, and looks like he may actually win this battle, but unless the reinforcements come in, it looks like Stats is going to send in his whole army. He is just macroing like a fiend, and 5 for 6, 7, 8 Templar. He's got almost all Templar here, actually, and this could be... wow, that could be actually really bad if Zero is able to get out enough forces quick enough here to deal with this, but Zero is still at 3 bases. It's almost like an all-in... strategy here just to get as much stuff as possible off these 3 bases. It looks like he might be getting a 4th base actually at the 3 o'clock position, but he's in trouble, and there is just so many storms in this army. But if he can dodge the storms, there's not much really substance to the army right now. He's got a couple Archons, a few Dragoons, that's it. He's just fighting with Templar alone, and so if he can send in just small groups of Hydralisks, he's going to be able to really do a good job of holding that army down. And look at this, yeah, so Stats just barely mining his main. He's barely mining in his natural expansion, and he's mining at that 3rd base, so he's really not mining much at all. But again, Zero, not either. Look at it, Zero's almost mined out in his main. Really needs this 4th base, so if Stats can take out that 4th base, it's going to be huge. He's moving in towards that 4th base now. He's got a couple Reavers in the mix as well, and Templar. He's just focusing all on these high-tech units. Not a lot of substance to the army, so if Zero can do some sniping or some storm dodging, he is going to run in with these... oh, and he clumps his lurkers, and they're going to die quickly. Just a couple storms, and that base is going to go down. Zero's going to run his drones out, but I don't know if he's going to be able to macro up enough forces to really deal with this. All he needs is just, you know, a couple dozen Hydras right now, and he could completely take Stats out. Although Stats is again macroing like a fiend, has macroed up another large army we're seeing right now. Zealots in this one as well, so some more substance to go with the Archons. That is going to be a huge army. If he can join up those 2 forces, it's going to be huge. But Zero coming in with a group of Hydras here, trying to take it out before it can regroup. Storm going off, Scarabs going off. There's a lurker in the mix that dies somehow. I don't know if he has an observer there. It may have just died just with all this extra splash damage going on. And Zero is forced to fall back, and more and more High Templar. Wow, I don't know how he's getting so much gas, but he's just building so many Templar. I mean, he's not building anything else basically with his gas. It's just Templar. Another Reaver in play. He's going to take some pot shots, not pot shots rather, but take some good shots at that Sun Colony, force it down, so that is not going to be a factor. And Zero can't even run his drones. He's forced to mine it. The double storm on all the drones, and Zero GG's with that double storm. Wow! Whoa, man, Stats playing really well, and Stats just macroing just really, really well. So anyway, Zero just couldn't get any expansions up and could not pull out enough macro in the end. So GG, thanks for watching.